KISW.
Hey, BJ.
Yes, sir.
Today's the big day.
Yes, it is. There
That's
it
right.
is right there. Buy the CD, by the way. Don't download it because you're really missing a lot. There's a lot of cool memorabilia in that CD.
Yep.
The 20th anniversary reissue of
Pictures.
Hey, I know that guy.
This guy looks familiar.
Hey,
oh, wait.
There he is right there. What's
Did they take this picture yesterday? Jesus Christ, Chad.
He doesn't have that beret anymore.
It's like you have
Yeah, I don't have the beret. The beret's gone.
Oh, that's why it's an old picture now.
Yeah.
Have you seen the remastered packaging?
Yeah, I have. Of even the record too, the albums, which are white.
I heard the
which is
record's
cool.
really cool too.
Very,
yeah,
very
white
cool.
vinyl.
Oh,
Crazy.
all right. Never mind. I changed my mind. Get the record.
Yeah, and buy a record player if you don't have it.
That's a great one at Chris. Look at that, all that blood.
You remember what happened there? Or?
You know what? I had 102, 103 degree temperature, so I don't remember much, even though I am smiling. I spent the entire party next door at some girl's house who had just lay in her bed, and she was giving me this tea, and I was just wiped. And somebody came over and said, "Okay, it's time to play."
Wow.
Yeah, I was out to lunch.
What I especially love in here is it's the old contract. You can find that
30.
right here. You can see here's the contract. There's your signature right down there.
Yeah, that's my signature.
Yeah, you're the first one to sign.
Yeah.
Signed your life away for a few albums, huh?
Yeah. First people in Sub Pop to do that one.
And then we go from that to Before Cars, your brand new CD.
Yep.
And where can people get that?
Well, they can get it currently on any online, like it's like available on iTunes, stuff like that. FlotationRecords.com, they can get it there.
Nice cock.
You can get it from MySpace.
Wow.
You like that?
Jesus Christ, dude.
Thank you.
You like that?
Yeah. Why does he speak during these things?
I know.
Why?
Everything was going so well.
I know.
Do you like the yellow part about that cock?
Yeah.
The yellow stripe there?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Coming right out of the
Yeah.
back of it, yeah.
You know, in the road.
Yeah.
That's working out.
You gotta have your cock in the road.
You know, 20 years ago, how is this for you? I mean, obviously, there's been a lot of talk, a lot of hoopla about it. But you know, what about you? How is this for you? This sort of anniversary thing? Do you mark things like this? Is it a crossroads thing, or what is this for you?
Well, you know, I mean, I don't know if it's much of a crossroads. I mean, it's just kind of weird at first to think that, like, you know, 20 years ago, and it still matters to some degree. That's what's really weird to me. It's like, okay, we did this record, and of course, you know, 20 years ago, we weren't thinking a 20-year reunion, you know, re-release, you know, from then.
Especially when you dropped $600 to make the record.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
who would have thought that they'd have to remaster it, reissue it, repackage it,
and it probably costs a lot more.
Oh yeah,
to do it. But,
yeah.
No, it is cool. You know, I mean, it took me a long time, like especially like after like Nevermind came out and stuff, where it's just sort of like sunk in that like, gosh, this band's actually getting pretty big. You know, and you know, of course, I actually. I became like a really big Nirvana fan, you know, when I first heard the recordings of Nevermind, you know. So I was like, oh wow, you know. So I was like, oh, that's going to be a great album. I was like, oh, I was really excited for those guys.
That's cool.
So it was really, really cool. So
I heard you checked them out at the OK Hotel too, when with Dave Grohl behind the drums.
Yeah, that was the first time I actually met Dave. They popped in, and I was just sitting there at you know, had a beer or whatever, and they popped in and was like, hey Chad, and I turned around like, oh, there they were. Oh, hey guys, you know, it'd been like probably, I don't know, 2.5 years since I'd seen him, you know. So, but it was really cool, and but yeah, I mean, for this record in particular, you know, it's a good feeling. What the heck, you know? What can I say?
What was it like to go back 20 years ago when you were in the studio and you were working on Bleach? What was that process like? I mean, are there any good stories that you could share to bring us back to those days? Because I mean, imagine it was a pretty quick process because it was only a couple $100, $600, probably a few days, huh?
Yeah. Well, you know, the funny thing about that to me is that I was talking to Chris Novoselic on the phone just last week, and we were talking about that session, and I had forgotten that when the first day we went in there, we recorded like all the tracks for like all the songs, but they were all down in like most of them was like tuned to D, and some songs were dropped in a drop C, so really, really low. And we thought, oh, that'd be really cool. And so the next day we came in. we listened to all of it, and we were like, what were we thinking? This is just a mess. And actually, the one song that we kept from that session from the first day was Blue. And that actually made it on the record.
Yeah.
But we actually just re-recorded over the rest of that stuff, which I would have actually been interesting to hear those early recordings. But, of course, tape, money, wasn't digital. We couldn't just, burn that on a CD and set it to the side. So we had to start from scratch. But working the drum sounds, I mean, we were all thinking about, okay, the idea was to, get a total heavy sound going. And as me and Chris kind of coined it as doom pop. But the drums that was weird for me. I mean, it was the first time I'd spent a long time in the studio recording, and so doing the drums. Like the heads we had tuned like really, really low to where it was like they were just barely on, it seemed, and it was kind of a real pain because with no flexibility in the heads, I couldn't get any snapback. It was, and of course with that, it was basically like playing a bunch of cardboard boxes. That's what it felt like.
Wow.
Really hard to generate power, and of course without any snapback, it was hard to generate a really strong sound out of it too. So it was really difficult, and I was actually amazed the drums came out as good as they did in the end result.
We heard that Polly is actually your 4 cymbal hits.
Yeah,
Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. Of course, I didn't find out about the Polly thing until I think it was 2000 or something like that. Someone's like, "Hey, did you know that that's your version of Polly?"
I remember.
And I'm like,
hearing it.
"It is?" And I remember listening to it, and it's like, I know, I've heard that song a lot. I go, "How could they say my version? There's what's on there?" I mean, there's vocals, there's guitar. What else is on there? And I listened to it and I said, oh, yeah, there's a cymbal hit. Oh, there's 4 of them.
Wow. Weird. So now...
Do you get, like, royalties on
is that a good thing for you?
Well, yeah.
Oh,
I think you do royalties for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
4 cymbal hits.
Yeah, 4 cymbal hits.
Cha-ching.
Yeah.
Cha-ching. Cha-ching.
Yeah.
And now I got to be curious about what songs did you record that wound up becoming songs on Nevermind? Do you remember?
Oh, wow. Let's see. Gosh, there's like about, I think 5 or 6 songs, and I'm trying to think of them all.
There's
No, I can't. Yeah,
Lithium in
Lithium's one of
Bloom.
them. In Bloom's one of them. That's right. What was that?
Territorial Pissings?
No.
Okay.
Lounge Act? Did you do Lounge? Breed.
Breed. Yeah, Breed's another one. I can't totally draw on a blank on this now, but
Come as
that's
you are.
weird.
Well, it is. I mean, it's a few years ago.
Yeah, it was a couple minutes ago. But
That's still, I mean, those are some songs.
Did you notice a difference in the band dynamic? Because I was around when you wound up parting ways with them. Did you notice a difference in the dynamic between when you guys were recording for Bleach as opposed to demoing songs for what was going to be the next album?
Well, when we recorded those songs with Butch Vig in Madison, and of course, like it was going to be, I guess, whatever the next record was going to be. Never mind, I guess, suppose at the time, but I mean, there was a definite difference in the feel. I mean, I was definitely more used to the whole studio thing, so
right.
there was a lot more I knew what to expect. But I still noticed that it's like of all the places that I've recorded, something's always makes it really kind of different. It's like you think about, it'd be nice to try to maybe recreate this sound, but then when you go in the studio again, it's like somehow you can't ever find that sound again. You've got to start from scratch.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's weird that way, but and when I first heard Nevermind, I heard it was like on cassette tape. Someone had got it before the record was released, and I'd heard that they'd went ahead and did the songs that we'd recorded, but they re-recorded them. And, aside from a slight couple little changes here and there that Dave did, I mean, for those songs that I was on, he pretty much played them right down to the T. And I was like, that was really cool. I was like, wow, I was totally flattered by that. I was like, wow, that's awesome. You know, I figured maybe just go and rewrite the whole thing and stuff.
What an attitude.
But it was totally cool. I was wow. I was pleased.
Chad, whatever it is that, you were drinking back then or sipping or inhaling, I got to get some because, I mean, that is an amazing, here you are flattered that the guy they replace you with is using your stuff. and you just seem to be very at peace with what life has given you, which, man, I mean, that's impressive to me.
The BJ Shea Morning Experience on 99.9 KISW.